The moment absolutely nobody was waiting for has finally arrived. Michelle Obama launched her brand new podcast.
A lot of people have questions they want to know, especially when they see somebody of note with a platform who, you know, by every measure looks successful. The first question is, how?
I think we know how. We're learning from the Doge and the USAID how you guys got so successful. Your career in politics turning into a $15, $20, $25, $50 million payday. Yeah, we all know how. Also, did she just call herself someone of note?
Somebody of note.
Is that what we're calling ourselves these days? Her co-host, by the way, is her brother, Craig Robinson, whose big claim to fame is being Michelle Obama's brother, Craig Robinson, and now apparently her podcast co-host.
I think this podcast, first and foremost, gives us an opportunity to hear from folks. You know, we're going to be taking, you know, questions from listeners.
Both of them?
They want to hear some honest kind of conversation about how people are working it through. And we don't have all the answers, you know. I mean, this show isn't about us being experts at anything.
Man, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's what a riveting sales pitch for a podcast. A show about us not being experts at anything.
This show isn't about us being experts at anything.
That should really be their tagline. I don't know what their tagline is. I think the show's called IMO, which is in my opinion. Now, typically, I've always heard it referred to as IMHO, which means in my humble opinion or in my honest opinion. And Michelle Obama clearly is neither humble nor honest about anything. So she just calls her show IMO, in my opinion. But I think, in my opinion, not being an expert about anything would be an appropriate title for this particular broadcast.
This show isn't about us being experts at anything.
And to really hammer that point home, here's a little taste from their second episode entitled Beets and Hot Dogs.
In my opinion,
what?
A hot dog is not a sandwich.
Huh.
Aside from being a conversation that took over the internet about 6 years ago, in fact, I think I talked about this on my radio show back in 2017.
And people have been trying to convince me.
It's just a hot dog?
It is a hot dog.
Also, I don't believe this at all. You're trying to tell me that people are trying to convince Michelle Obama's brother that a hot dog is a sandwich. Like they're spending time with Michelle Obama's brother. She's married to, for now, one of the most prominent and most powerful Democrats who've ever lived. She's a multi-millionaire. You get some FaceTime with her brother and you're going to argue about whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich. And if he says it's not, you're going to waste your time trying to convince him that it is? Just tell him he's right, get on his good side, and then go hang out in Martha's Vineyard with the Obamas. Only whatever you do, don't go paddleboarding in the lake out back. It never ends up well for anybody.
And people have been trying to convince me.
It's just a hot dog?
It is a hot dog.
It's its own category?
It's its own category.
Is a hamburger a sandwich?
A hamburger can be a sandwich. Yes.
Well, why can't what makes it? It's the shape of the hot dog?
You have 2 pieces of bread and some kind of thing in the middle.
That's a hot dog.
A hot dog only has 1 piece of bread.
1 bun and 1 sausage. That's something I think Michelle Obama would be able to relate to. But clearly, they are not only advertising the fact that they are not experts about anything, but they're proving it. Michelle Obama has a whopping 21.9 thousand subscribers after her first few episodes have aired. Now, this is nice. It's decent for any first-time podcaster. If I were somebody and I were starting a podcast with my brother and I was able to get 21.9 thousand subscribers with a mere 5 videos, that would be a coup. However, Michelle Obama is not some random person who's sitting down with her brother to create a podcast. Michelle Obama was the first lady of the United States of America for 8 years. Historically, the first black first lady married to the first black president. She's been one of the most photographed women in history. She's been on the cover of every single magazine. She lived in the White House. She's best friends with Oprah. She should be pulling in way more than 21.9 thousand subscribers with 5 videos. And I thought this was odd until I checked on another famous liberal podcaster, Gavin Newsom, who released his This Is Gavin Newsom podcast just a couple weeks ago. So far, he's interviewed some conservative heavyweights like Charlie Kirk and Michael Savage and Steve Bannon. And wouldn't you know it, even Gavin Newsom has a mere 27.2 thousand subscribers. And when I realized that neither Michelle Obama nor Gavin Newsom had more than 30,000 subscribers to their podcasts on YouTube, I came to the realization that nobody wants to hear liberals talk about stuff. Nobody wants to hear liberals talk for hours and hours and hours and hours. This is the exact same reason why Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and other conservative voices dominated talk radio for so long. Because listening to a Democrat drone on about whatever it is they drone on about for 3 hours or 2 hours or even 1 hour is not something that anybody wants to do. And if you need any more proof, all you have to do is check out Michelle Obama's podcast, IMO, or Gavin Newsom's This is Gavin Newsom to see that people just aren't tuning in. Sure, they'll watch a short video or a clip on the news, but they don't want long-form liberal talk.
They want to hear some honest kind of conversation about how people are working it through. And we don't have all the answers, you know? I mean, this show isn't about us being experts at anything.
There's a real simple reason why liberals make horrible podcasters and why conservatives make great podcasters. And the real reason is because liberals are egomaniacal. They only want to talk about themselves. And you can see this in their podcast titles or even their campaign slogans. For example, Gavin Newsom's podcast isn't called Conversations About Great Things That We Should All Care About, or, hey, let's make America even greater than Donald Trump can. Nothing like that. It's called This is Gavin Newsom. That's all he cares about. That's all he wants. He wanted to come up with a program that he can sit down for an hour and talk about his favorite subject himself. Michelle Obama, IMO, which stands for in my opinion. It's not called IYO in your opinion. If she really cared about other people, she'd be asking other people what their opinions are. She's saying you can tune into this podcast and you can listen to my opinion. It's the same thing that happened with Hillary Clinton. Remember when her campaign slogan was ready for Hillary? No, we were not ready for Hillary. Remember, I'm with her? No, nobody was with her. Not even Tim Kaine was with her. He just wanted his moment in the spotlight. President Donald Trump came up with a great campaign slogan, Make America Great Again. And what did he do? He talked about America. He talked about how he was going to make it great for people. He didn't talk about himself. He didn't say, this is Donald Trump, ready for Donald? In my opinion, no. He said, we are going to make America great again. You are going to be greater, stronger, richer, safer, freer, and happier than ever before. That's a winning campaign slogan. That's why people tune in to conservative podcasts like mine, because all I talk about is you and typically how the liberals are trying to, bend you over and, you know the thing. But until these liberals can drop the narcissism and keep their egos in check, they will never succeed in any kind of long-form talk format or short-term talk format or really any kind of political campaign, it seems.
A hot dog is not a sandwich.
But you, sir, are a great big weenie. If you enjoyed even this much, do me a favor right now, like, subscribe, and hit those notifications because we want to make sure we maintain more listeners and remain more popular than any of these liberal podcasters, including Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama. So hit like, subscribe, and set those notifications right now.